It is Monday, August 18th, 2025 at Protestia Studios, and this is an intelligence briefing coming to you from Protestia.com. Go to Protestia to find the latest in Christian polemics and discernment news. This update is for those of you that like to get your headlines via video on YouTube. Let's get into some of these headlines. First headline over at Protestia.com. SBC Church with 9 woman pastors sneakily gives them this new title. An SBC church once had 9 women pastors on staff has given the ladies a new title to avoid the prohibitions against female pastors in the Southern Baptist Convention. Fielder Road Baptist Church, aka Fielder Church, is a Texas-based multi-site, multi-ethnic, and multilingual church that the Baptist Press has previously highlighted for having 30% Hispanic and African American congregants. Led by lead pastor Jason Paredes, they not only have diversity of ethnicity, but they also have a diversity of gender among the pastoral staff. As of April 29th, 2025, they had 9 women pastors on staff bearing the title of pastor. These included, I'll show you the list. We don't need to read it all, but you can see it for yourself. This is also over at Protestia.com, along with some screenshots here indicating which of the ladies were previously named pastors and presumably are doing the exact same job, the exact same role they had before, but now are called shepherds. Sometime in the last few months, the title changed, where previously both men and women were listed as pastors. Now all the pastoral leaders are listed as, quote, shepherds. Yeah, I can't make this stuff up, especially since Jason Paredes was chosen by former SBC President Bart Barber to be on the committee studying what friendly cooperation means regarding this very issue. Commenting on the discovery, SBC Pastor Nate Schloman of Village Church RVA writes on X, "Why does Fielder Church want to be part of a convention that they fundamentally disagree with and that they seek to subvert? Why not just go join a place that aligns with their beliefs? Instead, they take this divisive route that is really dark when you think about it." I would agree. You can read more about this over at Protestia.com, including a lot of background information, not only if you want to catch up with the issue of lady pastors in the SBC, but also the ways that SBC churches undermine the clear biblical teaching by playing fast and loose with terminology. Let's move on. Next headline at Protestia.com, major abortion abolitionist conference coming to Canada in September. Several prominent abortion abolitionists will visit Canada for Maple Abolition, a 3-day mission and conference featuring teaching sessions, panel discussions, fellowship, and on-the-ground activism to address the widespread acceptance and celebration of abortion in Canadian society. Held from September 18th to the 20th of this year, the conference is free to attend and hosted by the Mill Christian Fellowship in I'm not even sure how to pronounce this, Mississauga, perhaps, Ontario. It will include well-known abolitionists, leaders of anti-abortion organizations, and local pastors and teachers, such as Russell Hunter, John Speed, Laura Klassen, Matt Truella, Derek Green, Steve Bainbridge, Ron Krantz, Paul Gowdy, and C.R. Call. You can see the lineup over here at Protestia. Protestia will have a presence at the event as a regular attendee, and we'd love for you to stop by and say hello. And anyone interested in meeting up for a conversation can DM us on our X account. Next headline at Protestia.com, prominent Texas pastor resigns following revelation of long-term pornography addiction. Another prominent pastor in the DFW area, Dallas-Fort Worth area, is stepping down following revelations of an ongoing pattern of moral failure, according to a recent report by WatchKeep. David Daniels, the lead pastor of Central Bible Church, an 1,800-member non-denominational church in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, was asked to resign due to unspecified sins, as announced by the church several days ago. The announcement was quickly removed from the church's platforms, but they shared on their Instagram page that an in-house Q&A session would be held for members seeking further details. Following the announcement, Daniels stated he would be stepping away from social media for a period of time. On his Twitter account, his X account, where he has been inactive since April 2024, however, he made a single puzzling comment on the WatchKeep's post about the story, claiming he had no idea what the post was referring to. Interesting. This is Amy Smith of WatchKeep. posted, lead pastor at Central Bible Church David Daniels resigns after confession of a, quote, ongoing pattern of moral failure, and shares her writing over at her website. And then I believe this is his account. Not sure why you have tagged me. I have no idea what your post means. So I haven't been able to figure out whether this means that the wrong Pastor Daniels was tagged, if that's his actual account, if someone else is running the account. No idea. An email obtained by the Watchkeep allegedly sent to church members clarified that the ongoing pattern of moral failure involved, at the very least, a long-term addiction to pornography that was, quote, affecting his marriage and his walk with the Lord. We, of course, take no pleasure in reporting such things. Seems to happen far too often. Any of it's, any sin like this is far too many times, obviously, and we take no pleasure in reporting it and are in prayer for all those involved. Next headline at Protestia.com, Oklahoma megachurch erects statue of literal demon god in church. An Oklahoma church has created a statue of a false god and put it in their church lobby for congregants to pass by and take pictures with. Life Church, of course, is an 85,000 member, seeker-sensitive, multi-site based Oklahoma church that has 40 locations. We've covered them previously in our post, which you can see over here. A lot of chicanery happens at Craig Groeschel's Life Church. For their At the Movies sermon series, Life Church Omaha put on a Moana-themed sermon series and decorated the church building with the theme. You can see some of the pictures over here of their Moana decorations in their church. For some reason, not sure if they have licensed all this from Disney or not, or even as a church. Don't even know for sure that they have to. I don't know. Who knows? Along with these set pieces, however, was the erection of a large depiction of the false goddess Te Fiti right near their entrance. Right here, this is a actual false god in the Moana films. Te Fiti was the first being to exist in a world of only ocean. She is a divine being with the ability to create life, which she used to form the Polynesian islands. Using her life-giving heart, she crafted islands filled with plants, animals, and people, and after her work, she rested, becoming an island herself. Her heart became a coveted treasure sought by villains like the great eel Tamatoa, the crab, and the fierce Kakamora pirates, all wanting its power for themselves. You can see here, this is the depiction of this false god from Moana, from the movie. One thing for this to be fictionalized in a movie, another thing to put something like this up in your church, which is supposed to be a place for worship of the one God and His Son, Jesus Christ. Next headline over at Protestia.com. New study reveals 30% of pastors who leave the ministry cite burnout or conflict with church. Even though only around 1% of pastors leave the pulpit each year, of those who do, around a third of them cite burnout and conflict with their church as their reason for doing so, according to a new Lifeway research study into 4 Protestant denominations: Assemblies of God, Church of the Nazarene, the Wesleyan Church, and the SBC. You can see this, the chart here from Lifeway Research. Why do former pastors say they step down from the pulpit? 40% cite change in calling, conflict in churches up there, and burnout is up there. The report notes that nearly half, 45% of former pastors report facing major conflict in their church during their final year of service. Most, 87%, encountered conflict at some point in their last congregation, often due to proposed changes, have experienced disputes with lay leaders, or faced significant personal attacks. None of this should be a surprise for if you are a member of an SBC church or a Protestant church. Conflict is kind of part of the game. The question, of course, is how it's handled. But this information coming from Lifeway is, I'd say it's both surprising and not surprising at the same time. But you can read more about it over at Protestia.com. Next headline, new Joseph of Egypt TV series from The Chosen director Dallas Jenkins begins filming. Dallas Jenkins is expanding his Chosen Bible universe, with Deadline reporting that the new series Joseph of Egypt has begun filming in New Mexico for Amazon's Prime Video. Designed as a 3-season limited series with 8 episodes per season, the show stars Adam Hashmi, previously seen in 1 episode of Bridgerton and 1 episode of Criminal Record. The official log line for the show reads, in this iconic Old Testament story, betrayed by jealous brothers, Joseph defies all expectations and rises to incredible power in Egypt, second only to Pharaoh. But when his past catches up with him, he faces the ultimate test. The series will also feature Alexander Siddig as Jacob. Some of you might remember him from Star Trek Deep Space Nine. Babak Tafti as Simeon, Daniel Pira as Reuben, and Iris Barr as Leah. While not directed by Jenkins himself, the series will be executive produced by him and co-produced by Amazon MGM Studios. Read more about this over at protestia.com. I'd say we're not super hopeful for the biblical accuracy of anything coming from Dallas Jenkins, and if you look him up on Protestia, you'll see why. Next headline from protestia.com: Based Church of Nigeria Anglican severs ties with Church of Wales after they elect lesbian archbishop with live-in girlfriend. The Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion has announced that it is officially severing all ties with the Church of Wales after the election of Reverend Cherry Van as the new archbishop. Van is the first woman to be elected as an Anglican archbishop in the United Kingdom and the first openly gay bishop serving as primate, how do they pronounce that? I don't know. In the Anglican Communion, notably, Van is not married, quote unquote, to her lesbian girlfriend, Wendy Diamond, but has been living in a same-sex civil partnership for years. The primate of the Church of Nigeria, Reverend Henry Ndukaba, I believe that's how it's pronounced, described her appointment as, quote, an abomination before God, and has placed the church in Wales in a, quote, state of impaired communion, meaning all official fellowship, ministry partnership, and worship will cease between them. He said in a statement, "We do not recognize the so-called Archbishop of Wales and cannot share communion with a church that has departed from the teachings of the Bible. The election of a practicing lesbian as an archbishop is not only a departure from the faith once delivered to the saints, but a defiance of God's order." Yes, we would, of course, fully agree with that statement. Read more about this over at protestia.com. Last headline for this intelligence briefing: megachurch invokes the Defend Trade Secrets Act to keep financial information secret in class action lawsuit. Gateway Church, Robert Morris, who was the former pastor there, of course, has been embroiled in scandal for several years at this point. Gateway Church has invoked the Defend Trade Secrets Act to keep several church matters private and free from prying eyes, according to a new report from Trinity Phi. Gateway is currently embroiled in several lawsuits after their founder, Robert Morris, was revealed to have molested a 12-year-old girl and that church elders covered it up. One of these lawsuits is a class action lawsuit launched by several former and current members, claiming that they were repeatedly and falsely promised by the congregation that 15% of their tithes would go towards missions, something they say never happened. According to the Gateway Church protective order obtained on May 10th, quote, confidential information shall include, but shall not be limited to, information that concerns or relates to sales, marketing, manufacturing, research, development, financial performance, manufacturing or other costs of doing business, licenses or other confidential agreements, technical details of products or methods of doing business and or marketing, and or personally identifiable information. Is in case you wondered if mega churches, business modeled, market driven, seeker sensitive mega churches were businesses, they're businesses. Gateway's use of the Defend Trade Secrets Act allows them to keep their financial information private from the plaintiffs and potentially sue them for, quote, misappropriating them. Pete Evans, the president of Trinity Phi, blasted the tactic, insisting it's pure insanity. Previous courts cases have invalidated church trade secrets. Hopefully they're able to get that sorted out, and the financials and any financial impropriety Gateway Church will be exposed. Thank you for tuning into this episode, this edition of the Intelligence Briefing for August 18th, 2025. Stay tuned to protestia.com for all of your latest in Christian polemics and discernment news. We'll see you again real soon. As always, Semper Reformanda.